大家好，我是 Olive Branch的 Alan. So a lot of people who want to get stronger, they don't really want to do traditional weight training in the gym, lifting weights. They feel like they don't want to get big, bulky muscles. So instead, they opt for functional training. So what is functional training? Well, let's define it like this, because a lot of people actually have very different definitions depending on who you ask. On one hand, we have traditional weight training, which everybody kind of knows is in the gym lifting barbells or dumbbells. And then the functional training is what people think would be helping them on an everyday exercise. So doing a lot of balance work on Swiss balls, Bosu balls, balance boards, using one arm exercises while the other one is stationary, or one leg, and usually with a lot of variation. But does functional training actually help you with your everyday activities, or does it enhance your sport performance? And is traditional weight training really not that useful in your everyday life? Okay guys, so the first thing you want to understand is this misconception that a lot of people have about strength and skill. The first principle that we must talk about is the SAID principle, which is SAID, Specific Adaptations to Induced Demand. The SAID principle is rooted in the principle of specificity, which basically just means whatever you're training or doing or practicing, you will only get really good at that thing that you're doing. It doesn't spill over and it doesn't transfer over to other skills that require its own different practice and skill acquisition. So as mentioned, a skill is a very specific movement pattern that has to be repeated over and over again with accuracy and precision. If anybody plays tennis and badminton, then they know that although the rackets might look similar and the swing to a layperson might look similar, the actual feel of the swing, the mechanisms of the swing is very different, and you can't really apply the same skill over to the other sport. So the next thing, guys, is the misunderstanding of strength as it applies to physical prowess. So when people think about getting stronger or just being fitter, they think about power and coordination. They think about balance and speed. And they don't necessarily just want to think about strength because they don't want big, bulky muscles. But all of the above that I just mentioned requires strength as its limiting factor, because all of them does require force production. So if you need to be fast, well, that requires strength. If you want to have good balance, again, that actually requires strength. And I'll go into a future video on the complications of balance and how that actually does depend on skill and strength. So strength as the underlying theme for power and coordination and balance and speed, agility, is that the more strength you have, the better you will be at all of the above. As opposed to the weaker you are, the worse off you will be in all of the above. So this is the reason why functional training is not the ideal exercise of choice if you want to improve your everyday activities, because everyday activities does not require you to lift one dumbbell while balancing on a Swiss ball. And it doesn't require a lighter weight. If you're trying to get stronger, using a lighter weight limited by an unstable base is not going to help you get stronger efficiently either. So back to the original question about, does traditional weight training improve your everyday life? Well, as I mentioned, because everything is very specific to your movement, traditional weight training won't directly apply to lifting grocery bags and your briefcase, or moving your dining room table across the room. But it does help in the sense that you are getting stronger overall. You're stronger. So you will have the adaptations in your bones to be stronger, your muscles to be able to continue to lift heavier loads. But yes, the act of maybe shuffling the dining table across the living room might not be very efficient. You will at least have the strength to do so without getting hurt. So traditional weight training is the most efficient way for getting you strong, and having more strength, which includes fast twitch muscle fibers, is the best way to improve your speed, your agility, your balance and coordination in the broadest sense, and in the safest and most efficient manner as well. So we all know that if you want to get stronger, then traditional weight training is very good for that. But what you might not have known before this video is that it also helps you to improve your balance and your speed and coordination and agility, because strength is the underlying theme amongst all of them. As opposed to another form of training that assumes that doing certain movements will mimic whatever it is that you're trying to get better at, like agility. but doesn't actually make you stronger, or is not exactly that exact same movement that you're trying to accomplish. If your goal is to lose fat, then my recommendation is still to do strength training to build muscles, and also to do metabolic conditioning to burn as much sugar as possible. And this was mentioned in an earlier video that you can go back to check. If you're looking to enhance the performance of a specific sport that you're doing, then my recommendation is still to do traditional strength training to get as strong as you can, while also doing conditioning work so that you really can improve your aerobic and anaerobic capacity, so you're very fit and you won't fatigue too easily, while you continue to practice the sport that you're doing so that you can utilize your newfound strength and your conditioning to improve your game overall. So that's it, guys. I hope you found that useful. Please leave any questions or comments below, and I'll see you next time.